Yeah, the simpler way of installing KenyaEMR using the clone. So we already have a clone prepared for that particular purpose. So we'll do that at the end of the 2 sessions that we are going to have. I think for those who have joined afresh, you can self-introduce on the chat area. I think the rest that were here before have already done that. And again, during the training, feel free to interrupt the facilitator if you have a question or if you want more clarity on this. You can also ask the questions right in the chat area. Our team will be able to respond to you in real time, just as we did yesterday. The training, once again, will be recorded, so you'll be able to access the recording on our official YouTube channel once we get it to upload. Yeah, so I think for the sake of time, we just need to dive into it. So today we are having 2 trainers. The first trainer will be my colleague, Frida Oyucho, who will be taking us through how to install IEL and also how to install AIR. Not only to install, but rather to configure AIR to be able to submit data automatically to the KHIS. That is for the monthly reporting purposes. So I think at that point, let me give it to Frida to start us off.
Hi, Otieno. Good morning, everyone. My name is Frida Oyucho. So I'll be taking you through how to install IL on Ubuntu environment and also how to send KPIF report to 3 p.m. So I think I'm having some connection issues. So just give me 1 or 2 minutes and then I'll share my screen.
Rita, I don't know if you've sorted out the network issue.
Yes, give me just a minute. Yes, sorry for the network hitch. So I'm just going to share my screen. I don't know if you're able to see my screen. Please confirm.
Yes, we can see.
Oh, okay. So as I'd mentioned before, I'm going to take the team through how to install IL on Ubuntu environment. So for you to install IL on the Ubuntu environment, the first thing you need to do is to obtain the latest installation package of IL from Palladium GitHub releases page. And then you need to download it and save it in your computer. So as you can see from your screen, mine, I had already downloaded it and decided to save it on my desktop. Okay. Then once you've downloaded your package, of course, you need to extract it. So mine is ready to go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to access it through the terminal. So I'm just going to quickly access the terminal. So once I'm at the terminal, then I'm going to navigate to the installation package. That is the IL interoperability layer. So I'm just going to CD into desktop because mine is saved on the desktop. Then I'm going to CD into the folder of interoperability layer. Okay, so once I'm inside the folder interoperability layer, the first thing that I need to do is I need to make sure that the installation package is executable. Okay, so how do we do this? So you simply run the following command: sudo chmod a+x and then install.sh. That is the package. Then I'm going to enter the password. Okay, once I've made it executable, now I'm going to execute it. So how do I do that? Sudo /install.sh. Okay, then I'm going to press enter. I don't know if anybody's lost. I don't know if you're together. I don't know if I've gone so fast. I hope tuko pamoja. So once we are there, the script will run and then you'll be prompted to enter the database name, as you can see from the screen. So the database name, the database that you're using is root. Okay, then once you press enter, the system will again prompt you to enter the password. So the default password is test. So I'm going to enter test, to key in test, then enter. Then you'll allow it to run. Any question up to that point? So basically what is happening right now is IL is being installed. So we'll just give it a few, it doesn't take a lot of time, few seconds, 1 or 2 minutes, and then we'll proceed from there. So it's done. So once it's done, the next thing we're going to do is now we're going to update the MySQL username and password. So how are we going to do that? So we're simply going to run the command below, cd. Okay, so I'll just write it. Okay, and then I'll again run sudo gedit to enable me to edit the file, to open the file that I want to edit. Okay. So the moment I type sudo gedit and then that file, so it opens the file and it allows me to update the MySQL username and password. So if you can see development, that is where we're going to update with the correct username and the correct password. So the username already exists, so I'm just going to put in the correct password, which is test. Okay, after that, I'm just going to save the file. Okay, once it's done saving, then I'll just close it. Okay. So the next thing that I'm going to do now, we are done installing IL. So I just want to restart IL. Then now we can go to the browser and just open it. So the command that I'm typing right now is for restarting IL. Okay. Update. Okay. So our IL has restarted successfully. So now we are going to navigate to the browser so that we can access the IL. So I'm just going to go to the Firefox web browser. Okay. Then because IL is installed in this very same machine, so I'm just going to use localhost :5000. Okay, so if you've installed your IL correctly, this is what you'll see the moment you navigate to the browser and you put in the link. So now we are going to log in now to ascertain that we've successfully installed IL. So the username, it's the default username and password for accessing the interoperability layer is admin. Okay. So now we can comfortably see that we've actually successfully installed IL. So the next thing that we're supposed to do is we are supposed to navigate to KenyaEMR so that we set, we input the IL server, we input the IL link so that it's connected between the EMR and the IL so that you're able to send data from KenyaEMR to IL. So I'm just going to log in. Just a minute. Sorry about that. So once I've logged into KenyaEMR, so I'm going to navigate to the developer module. Just give it a minute to load. Okay, once there, going to navigate to settings. Okay, then I'm going to search for IL server. Okay, so you need to make sure that the IL server address is pointing to the IL and that it's correctly put. Okay, so just going to change that. I don't know if I'm going too fast. Ama bado tuko pamoja. Can somebody please confirm?
Yes, you're doing fine, but can you maximize the screen?
Or you're
so
not
that we
able
can,
to?
yes.
Okay, let me try and maximize. I don't know if that is better.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you save the changes. So you might also want to just check if the MFL code is correctly captured. Okay, let me just find it manually. So sorry about that. I can't seem to trace the MFL, but ideally, normally it picks automatically when you configure your facility name. Okay, so most of the time, the MFL code that appears under the advanced settings is normally the same MFL code that appears right here in your home page. So the reason why you're going to the advanced settings to also it's just to counter check if the MFL has been captured correctly, so that when you're sending data, whatever you're going to see in the 3 p.m. will be for your facility. Okay. So up to that point, I don't know if there is anybody with any question. I'll take it back to Otieno before we move to the next session, which is sending air data to 3 p.m. Otieno, over to you.
Yes, thank you very much, Frida. So I don't know if there is anyone with a question on how to set up IL. I know the pace was not the slowest, but I'm sure you followed. The good news is that the entire process is in an SOP, which we have online. We can share with you the link online so that you can access all the manuals and all the materials that pertains to IL and IL installation and installation of all our HIS products. Yeah, so if you have a question, maybe you can spend a few minutes to answer your question. Anyone? Okay, so seems like we don't have questions. So I think the next bit is now, and this is specifically for the guys who usually send the 3 p.m. data. I know in attendance there are guys who don't, but just to show you the capability of the KenyaEMR in terms of automated data submission into the national reporting system. And in this case, we are talking about the GJS2. So the system can be configured so that every month you don't have to print the paper reports that you usually do. You simply check your data for quality, and once you're satisfied, you connect to the internet, click a button, and the data gets sent to the report gets sent for you to the national reporting system. So that is a very important feature. Right now, I think the system is able to do that for the voice 731. It is also able to do that for the 3 p.m. So based on request, we will continue to improve on the system so that it can send as many, it can automatically help us to send or submit many reports to the national data, to the national reporting systems without necessarily doing the manual reporting that we sometimes do. Yeah, so I think I should just get it back to Frida to do the last bit of the automated indicator reporting. And in this case, we are specific to 3 p.m. But I think the essence of showing you this is just to show you how this can be done, not only for the 3 p.m., but for any other report that usually do to the national reporting systems. Yeah, so Frida, you may just take it back and continue. Yeah, so as we wait for Frida, I think she has a connectivity problem. If you have a question or any comment, you are free to just unmute and proceed. Yeah, I'm also seeing questions about how the people who did not attend training yesterday can be helped. So the training for yesterday was recorded and uploaded onto the YouTube channel. So I'm just going to share with you the link in the chat section. So if you missed the training yesterday, I've just shared the link to the YouTube file. Just click on it and you'll be able to follow what we did yesterday. So I don't know if Frida, if you are back online, you could
Yes,
just
yes, yes.
proceed. Yeah, just feel free to proceed with yeah.
Apologies for that. Just experienced a blackout. Sorry for that. So we'll just move to the next session. I think Otieno has already introduced the concept of sending air data, especially to 3 p.m. So I'll just get right to it. So I'm just going to share my screen. I don't know if someone, Otieno, can you just confirm if you're able to see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
Okay. So for this session, we are not going to actually see how data is moving up to 3 p.m. Because of other technicalities, but we're just going to show you exactly what you need to do to ensure that that data is sent directly from KenyaEMR to the 3 p.m. instance. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is to install interoperability layer, as we have done. This is mainly for the sake of demonstration, but eventually you'll not be required to install IL in your facility when you'll be able to now send data to 3 p.m. You'll be required to just submit data, which will directly go to the centralized IL, to cloud, okay? So this is just to show you the capabilities of the HIS products that we support. Okay, so for you to be able to send KPIF reports directly to 3 p.m. instance, you'll simply navigate to reports. Okay, once you are at the reports, you'll go to choose key population. Okay. Once you're there, you will generate the MOH731B report and just request it. Normally, the way you normally request other reports in KenyaEMR. Okay, so I'm just going to play with the period of September from September 1st to September 30th. So we're just going to give it a few seconds for the report to process. Sorry about that. Okay, so once the report has been completed, you are able to see the ADX. So that is the format, that is the report format that enables you to send data directly from KenyaEMR through IL to the 3 p.m. instance. It is the same way when you send the MOH731 report to the DHIS instance, the report is packaged in the ADX format. So what you're going to do after you generated the report, then you just click on the ADX file. Okay, once you've clicked on the ADX file, then the system will bring you to this page. So it is from this page that you'll simply click submit message. Okay. So we are not going to do it practically as I had mentioned. So basically what you are required to do is to submit message. So the moment you submit the message, you'll be able to see a message that says message successfully sent. So once it has been sent, for the purpose of demonstration, you can always navigate back to IL, go to notifications, you'll be able to see the ADX message sent to 3 p.m. and you'll also get a message from the 3 p.m. saying that successfully. Okay, so that is from the KenyaEMR side. So from the IL side, you also need to do configurations. So from the participating systems, you'll be required to just check if the address where the report is supposed to go to, the 3 p.m. address is correct. So you'll just confirm. Once you've confirmed that, you'll also be required to just configure the address from the EMR that you're using. So in this case, you'll be using KenyaEMR. So you'll be required to update the address appropriately with the correct address that enables data to move from KenyaEMR to IL. Okay, so what you simply do is you simply click update and then you choose HTTP, then you enter the correct address. Okay, once you've done that, then you now need to configure for the facility. So you'll simply come to settings. So once you're at settings, you'll just, because you need to provide the facility name, the facility that is sending the data to the 3 p.m. instance. Then also, you need to also configure the username and the password that allows you to access the 3 p.m. and also the implementing mechanism ID. So how do you configure that? Once you are at settings, you simply update settings, okay? So from here, you start by updating the facility name. It doesn't really matter the order, but you update the facility name. So once you click on the facility name, you can always key in the correct facility name. Okay. As I mentioned, I'm not going to do this practically because right now we are not able to send that data directly to the 3 p.m. instance. Okay, so and then you'll, after updating the facility name, you'll still click on update settings and then update the 3 p.m. username, put in the settings description, then now put in the actual username. Once you've done that, again, you'll click update settings, put in the correct 3 p.m. password, select the description, then put in the password. Okay. Once you've done that, then the final thing you need to do is you need to configure for the ppm 3 p.m. implementing mechanism ID. Okay, so once you've done that, then now you are able to now go back to your KenyaEMR, then send data to 3 p.m. If you don't configure the username, the password, and the ID, the 3 p.m. username and password and ID, your data might not be updated to your facility once it is at the 3 p.m. instance. Okay. That also applies when you're sending air data to DHIS. You have to update the DHIS username and also the DHIS password, facility name as well, and also you have to ensure that the DHIS instance is active and the link is correct. Up to there, I don't know if there's any question or any clarification. I'll take it back to Otieno. Hello, Otieno, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, back to you. If at all there is any question.
Okay.
We can move to the next.
Okay. Thanks for that, Frida. I think that kind of gives a summary on how to configure KenyaEMR for air, so then it can be able to help you submit your data automatically to the national reporting systems. In this case, you can report 731, you can report 3 p.m. In future, you'll be able to report to electronically report more as we keep on improving the system. One thing maybe I need to emphasize is that the interoperability layer, the IL, is not part or is not a system that is built within KenyaEMR. So interoperability layer is a separate system which you have to install separately, but all it does is that it helps you to integrate your systems. Like for now, right now you'll find that using the IL, you're able to integrate the ADT. For those who know, you can be able to integrate it with MLab, with many other systems that are part and parcel of the integration scope. So it is an improving system as well, and in very near future we will be able to integrate even more systems. So I think it is one of those important piece of applications that you may want to have even as you implement KP. So again, as was promised, if there is no question on how to do IL, then I think we'll proceed to the next phase. So I'll give maybe a couple of minutes for any question. The first question I saw from Abuga was how to contact us for support in case there is any issue with IL or air. So, Mr. Buga, you'll be able to access to contact us through our service, the toll-free line. We will share the toll-free line. We'll be able to share it on the chat. So then anytime if you encounter a problem or a challenge, you'll be able to reach us free of charge. Okay. Pamela would want to get more information on IL integration with ADT. Yes, we have your number, so we'll be able to reach out, maybe give you more information as you may require. Thanks for that. So I don't know if there is any further questions or comments before we move to the next session. Okay, silence in this case means there are no further questions or comments. So I think we'll proceed to our final session. And as I said during the introduction was that this is going to be a continuation on what we did yesterday about how to install the KP system. And the KP system here is the KenyaEMR because KP is part and parcel of KenyaEMR modules. As we had already explained this to you yesterday. So yesterday we went through the standard process of installing KP or the standard process of installing KenyaEMR. So today we are going to see how can we install the same using cloning method. So cloning method means simply means this. It means that I create a blank machine, I install the operating system, I install everything that I need for that system. So in this case, we have installed the KenyaEMR completely with everything that we require. Then we use a cloning software. In this case, we are using the Clonezilla. So using the cloning software, we are able to copy or to create an image, an identical image of that particular machine, and save that image on a medium, a flash CD, I mean. And then we can now restore this image using the same software. We can restore it in any other new machine where it will be able to restore with all of the components. So for us, it's just a matter of restoring, then we start using the system. So you don't have to kind of install everything one by one, and you may not even need internet for you to do that installation. All that you need to have is the Clonezilla, which is the cloning software, and then the machine where you install all of the components that you need. So it's a very easy thing, and it makes the work very easy. So you can use this if you are doing if you're doing deployments in multiple facilities, where you just create one image and then you replicate that image across several facilities. So that again is a very important, it's a very interesting approach which you may adopt if you don't want to do things the long way. Okay, so this will be led by Kennedy Gutu. So I don't know, Ken, if you are ready so that you can take us through the process. Over to you, Ken.
So good afternoon, guys. So this is Leon. We shall be doing this together with Kennedy Ogutu. So we are just going to take you through the process of the cloning process from the top. And welcome. So I'm just going to start by giving us the prerequisites. So for this process, as Bernard Otieno had said, you need the software, you need to have Clonezilla. Clonezilla is a software that enables you to restore an image, and Clonezilla also enables you to make an image. So what we are going to do, we are going to see, we are going to go through the process of restoring an image of already existing machine. That is an KenyaEMR that is already running. We did a clone of that hard disk, and we are going to see how can we restore this clone into a new machine that does not have KenyaEMR. So one thing you need to know, for you, we are restoring the hard disk. So if you have a machine that is running on a 500 GB hard disk, you need to have a clone that is from a 500 GB hard disk. If you have a machine that has a hard disk of 1 TB, you need to have a clone that is from a 1 TB machine. So we had done this earlier, so it's going to be a video. So I'm just going to take us through the video of the whole cloning process as I explained. Thank you. Before I continue, can you see my screen? Somebody confirm if they can see my screen.
Yes, I can see Del.
You can see Del. Thank you. So you need to be having Clonezilla. So Clonezilla, as we had said, is the software that enables us to restore an image. So you need to be having Clonezilla in a bootable device, preferably a flash drive, and boot your machine using Clonezilla. So I was using a Dell machine. I've just booted it. This is the process of booting. And once you've booted your machine using Clonezilla, this is the first page that you see after booting your machine. And from here, these are just the display settings. So I'm going to select the first one, that is Clonezilla Live Default Settings VGA 800 by 600, and I press enter to continue. So this is the first Clonezilla, like the landing page once you've booted your machine using Clonezilla. So that you just select and then press enter. Then it will take a few minutes to load. It will load a few things there. And once it's done, it will ask you to select the language that you want to use. So we will select English. Just a minute, let me go back. So after English, it will give you the keyboard mapping, which you want to use. So you just select don't touch key map. We are not going to specify any, so that your keyboard just remains the same. Then it will load and give you the Start Clonezilla tab. So we are going to say Start Clonezilla and select OK. When you press enter, it will go on. Just a minute. The video. So this is the next. This is the next page. So here it will ask you, which kind of restoration do you want to do? Is it a device image? That means that do you have an existing image and you want to restore the image on a device? Or is it a device, which means you might be having another hard disk that is from a different machine and you want to restore it into the hard disk of another machine. So it's just like copying the hard disk of an existing machine and pasting it to the hard disk of another machine, and so that these two machines can be identical. You had already set up one machine, you're just copying everything inside there, pasting it on another machine so that these two machines can be identical. So for us, we will be working with an image. So we select device image. So it will ask you which device do you want to use. So this is a local device. This just asks you where is the image, where is the image saved? So the image is saved in a hard drive or USB drive. So once you have Clonezilla, you also need the image. You remember we said there's an image that the image that we are going to restore into the hard disk. So we are specifying where the image is. So the image is it can either be in a local device, in an SSH server, it can be in a Samba server, but for us, we have it in a local device that is a hard disk. So once you select local device, at this point down here, I hope all of us can see down here, we will be prompted to now input the device in which the image is. So remember, we had our flash disk that had Clonezilla, the bootable drive that had Clonezilla that we booted the machine with. And now we have another, whether it be a hard disk or another flash disk that has the image, the image containing a drive device. So at this point, that is where we now input the device containing the image that we want to restore. Tuko pamoja mpaka hapa ama ninaenda haraka sana? Hopefully tuko pamoja. So we will continue. So you enter the device. So at this point, I'm going to insert my hard disk. Once I've inserted it, I wait for about 5 seconds. Then I press the enter key. The 5 seconds is just to allow the machine to read my hard disk. When you usually input your device into the machine, if you're using a hard disk or a flash disk, you will see some blue or red lights flashing from the device as it reads. So the 5 seconds is just to wait for the hard disk to be read by the machine. So after that, I press enter and it will run. Immediately after running, it will then give me this page where I'm going to choose where I'm restoring the image to. So Clonezilla has gone to my machine and it has noticed that this machine has 3 hard drives or 3 partitions of hard drives. The first one is the SDA1, that is 512 MB. The second one is SDA2, that is 927.2 GB. And the third one is SDC1, that is 931.5 GB. So at this point, I'm going to now specify which hard disk do I want the image to be restored to. I hope we are together, because you need to identify this is the hard disk that I want this image to be restored to. So for me, it is the SDA2 927.2 GB. That is the hard disk of my machine. SDC1 is the transcend external hard disk that is holding the image. And SDA1 is 512 MB, that is a partition of the hard disk. So I want my image to be restored to SDA2. Once you do that, you press enter. Then from there, it will now ask you, it will now access the transcend and ask you where in the transcend did you save the image. So the location of the image, which directory is the Clonezilla image saved inside the external hard disk that we had put in. So if it's in the top directory, that means root, you just put it inside there. It will appear, you will just select top directory. If you had created a folder and put it inside a folder, then at this moment, you will have to select the folder which you had put it in. So for myself, I just put it on the root. It's just in the top directory in the local device. So I'll press enter and continue. Then it will ask me again to press enter just to confirm this. From there, it will ask me the mode that I want to use. Is it beginner or expert? I'll select beginner. Now it will ask me the mode that I want to run. So at this point, it will give me the different options that we have. Do you either want to save the disk? That means, do you want to the machine that you're running on? Do you want to make an image of this machine? Do you want to save the disk of this machine that you're running? Do you want to save parts of the disk as an image? Do you want to restore a disk? So do you want to restore an image to this disk, or do you want to restore parts of an image to this disk? So since we are restoring an image to this disk, we are going to select restore disk. So it will just check for the image and it will go to my transcend that I had specified, and it will show me the available images that are the different images that are available to be restored. So I have the first one, the second one, and the third one. So I'm going to choose the second one. So if you have many different images, it's going to show you to all the available images there. So like I can see the one that is down there, but it's for 500 GB. So, but as we said, my machine is a 1 TB machine. So I'm going to select the one for 1000 GB so that I do not have any issues, because the data needs to move exactly. If it was from a 1 GB hard disk, it needs to fit perfectly. If I have a 500 GB hard disk image and I'm restoring it to a 1 TB hard disk, it will hit an error. So we are just going to select the second one that is good. Let me just move this. Yeah, then press enter. Sorry, it has moved a little bit fast. So I've selected that one. Then I'll press enter. Then it will ask me, where is it located? That is where it is, on the transcend. Then it will just ask me to confirm. Press enter to confirm. Are you sure you want to continue? Press Y, then enter. Then it will ask me again, are you sure you want to continue? Press Y and then enter. So just wait for it to run. So it has started the actual process of restoring the image to the hard disk. So this process doesn't take long. So we'll just give it a few minutes as it restores. So as this runs, I don't know if we have any questions. Hakuna maswali? Ama sijui mimi ndo sisikiki. Can you guys hear me? Hello? Hello?
Well, you are audible. It's just that the team is quiet, but we are able to hear you.
Oh, I thought I was just alone. Yeah. So once it has run to 100%, it will tell you clone successfully, and it will finish up. And it will prompt you to reboot. It will prompt you either to power off, reboot, or rerun, or enter the command line prompt. So you can just select to reboot your machine so that you can now log into the restored system. So it will now just reboot. Yeah, so that's it. Now, once you've rebooted your machine, you should be able to log into Ubuntu. You can also, for example, the machine that we used, it was a Windows machine, but now we have run the clone. It has formatted everything on the machine, restored the image which was running on Ubuntu, and now we have a machine that it has Ubuntu and has KenyaEMR on it. So if I don't have any questions, I think I can return it back to Bernard Otieno. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Leon, for that demonstration. So I think you've seen the other way of installing what we did yesterday. One thing that maybe you ought to note as you're using a clone, if you're intending to use a clone, is that there has to be direct compatibility between the cloned image and the size of your machine. So for instance, if you are to clone a machine with 500 GB hard disk, the destination, the target machine where you're going to restore that image must be 500 GB hard disk. If it is less, it will not restore. If it is more, you will lose anything, any part of that disk that doesn't fall within 500. So that after restoring, the only active partition that you'll be able to see and operate on is 500 GB. So if you restore a 500 GB image on a 1 TB machine, you will lose the other half. You will not be able to operate the other half. So it is important to note that you have to, you need to have same image size, disk size, with the target disk size. Okay. So up to that point, I don't know if there is any question because that is our last session for the day. We've seen how to install and configure IL. We have seen how to configure the air for automated indicator reporting. And now we have seen how to install KenyaEMR or KP through a clone, through cloning. I mean, yeah. So if at all there's any question, then we can give, I think, 5 minutes to answer any question that might come up. So anyone with a comment or question? Wow, seems more like it has been a very quiet class. The participants are either very quiet people or they don't like asking questions.
Or maybe they would want to see the login and also the interface that we have just cloned. Maybe you can still share the screen and okay. So let me share the correct screen. Are you able to see the screen? Otieno, are you able to see the screen?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, maybe that is the login screen. After cloning, just giving the login credentials. And then, so this is just a replica of the machine that you cloned. So everything that you pick from that machine will come to the new machine that you are going to use now. So after logging in, you'll have a replica of the machine that you cloned. You can go ahead and access your KenyaEMR and any other thing that you want to do. So you'll be able to load your KenyaEMR, you log in, and there you go. So this is the machine that that we have just cloned. It was a Windows machine, and now it's running on Ubuntu with the same specs of the machine that we cloned for this purpose. So that is all. Cloning takes a very short time. It's the shortest shortcut to use. It saves a lot of hassles of installing the bare metal, the prerequisites, doing the configurations. So this one is to get a machine that is already running, just use the clone method and you have another copy of the machine. What needs to happen? They need to have the same specs in terms of the hard disk capacity. Back to you, Bernard.
All right, thanks, Ken, for that addition. And I think from the screen now, the team can see the KP provider and the peer calendar icons displayed. So that's the same screen that you need to have once you correctly install your KenyaEMR. You're supposed to have the KP provider icon and the peer calendar icon. All right. Yeah, so I think then that does it for us today. We will also upload this particular video on YouTube, access it at your own convenience from tomorrow morning. For access to the SOPs, we are going to share with you a link to the SOPs. I think, I don't know, Ken, if you can share the link to the resources. The other way to access our resources is through data warehouse. So you can log into the data warehouse and go to the resources page. You're going to find all our resources there. That includes the user manuals for all our products. So I'll leave room for final comments before we close this. Okay, seems like there's no comment. So if you are interested to reach out to us, please do so using the toll-free number that has already been provided on the chat section. So you can save that number for future use as well. Yeah, so I think that does it for us for the 2 days that we had planned. We hope to see you again in another training. If at all, we'll be able to organize another one for you. And that will be based on demand. So if there is demand for training on a particular topic, then you can share those with us. Then we organize to offer another virtual training. And I know having technical training virtually might not be the most friendlier method, but I think because of COVID restrictions, we are unable to train you physically. Yeah, so I think from us, from Palladium, KenyaEMR project, I would like to thank our facilitators, that is Frida, Kennedy Butu, and Leon, for their facilitation since yesterday and today. And I want to also thank you as our participants for getting time to be with us. Up to 4. So if you have any question, feel free to keep on typing. We'll be able to respond to you as we go along. So otherwise, thank you very much and God bless you.